You'll see me looking over there and maybe looking down sometimes. So I make some note of I have to make some notes because what I'm about to share with you happened about six 6 years ago. It was a continuous journey, but it started about 6 years ago. So, and you know that if you can't keep things in your I can't keep things in my brain for that long. Well, I'm not saying I can't keep things in my brain. If you keep stuff like that in your brain for long, you will not get past the trauma and the obstacles that happen. So I try not to keep them. I try to get past them, but it's a lesson learned that you will not saying it's a lesson learned that you can share with others. It's a lesson learned that you can share with others. And if it that you you come upon some similar situation, you will be able to maneuver that because it is something that you've been through already. So I will be getting into some of my notes here. But before I get into the notes, if you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Leave your comment below as to what you think about this video. Thank you. Yes. So I'm going to start off by saying, homelessness is no joke. Homelessness is not something that you can take lightly. It can, especially in the US, it can happen just like that. It's no laughing matter, but now I can really laugh about the matter because it's something that I've gone through. It's not something that I'm in now. So whether you're going through it now or something that you've faced before, or something that you have whether it's something that you have gone through before or something that you're facing now, I, I hope this video can inspire you in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe can put a smile on your face, knowing that you're not the only one who have been similar in this situation or in similar situation. Maybe not the same exact situation, but similar situation. All right. So this is very personal to me. This story that what I'm about to tell you is very personal to me. So sometimes maybe I will get a little emotional in while I'm talking about it, but we are all human being, and sometimes you know while remembering some of the stuff that happened, it will spark some of your emotions. So in all my 50 plus years, back then I wasn't in my 50s. I was about 40, in my 40s. I was about 48, 49, somewhere about there. When I came to the US, and in my 40th years, in life we will have ups and we will and down. That's life. It's called life. So we will have ups and downs. Nothing that we can't handle per se, especially if you're in your own comfort zone. You know the ins and the outs of that. But when you travel to another country and things happen, you you tend to think that this is the worst that can happen. Well, maybe it is, maybe not, because you never know what lies ahead. So this was an unexpected downturn for me, where when I came here, first thing first, the person that was supposed to pick me up at the airport did not turn up. That is the first red flag. But knowing me, and knowing full well that I am not somebody who ever give up just like that. I have to fight the fight. And I took it on. I took it on. I should say head on. I took on life head on, and whatever was to come, I took it on head on, and told myself that whatever the outcome, and that was just the beginning of my journey. So I faced a lot of challenges within that um, within that couple of years of my. I faced a lot of challenges within that few years of my life here in the US. A lot of ups, a lot of down, um, and stuff like that. So I met a couple people on my way when I was at the airport. I pay my way. I pay the Uber to get me to a certain point and to the Greyhound station. When I went to the Greyhound station, I met a few people. Nobody that I knew, but Jamaicans on a whole. So once you met Jamaican, some of those people who were people who they know where they were going. I wander off with them because I didn't know anybody and I didn't know where I was going. So I go off with them. And I could say that was the beginning of my journey, or that was the next step, or my second step. But it wasn't the exact beginning. The exact beginning was when I leave stranded at the airport. But my brain told me, take the taxi, take a cab, and go to the Greyhound station, which that was my second time going to the Greyhound station. It was my second time in the US. I remember, learning and adapting to all these changes, listening and observing what was going on around me, and adapting to the new culture. Because the first time when I came here, I didn't spend much time, so there was not much. I learned a little, but when you have people taking you around, there, it's not like you're just going with the flow. You're just moving with the flow. But when you're alone and it's like you're alone in the wilderness. You're that's when the actual learning process come in. So you have to learn. You have to you by yourself, so you have to learn. And when I get to where I was supposed to go now, the person I get to a certain point, that's when the person came and picked me up. So after they picked me up, you know, and moving around with them and stuff like that, I found out that that person wasn't legitimate. They were just I can't find the right word now, but they weren't legitimate. being around them for a couple months, and then they turn their back on you. That's where the real life comes in. After that happened, I called up a friend of mine and told them what happened, and you know they said I can come where they're at. So that is in another state. Go back to the gray own situation. Going back to the gray own situation, I found at the gray own station, I booked the ticket, I booked the gray own bus, and when I get to the gray own station, the bus was full, and I was leave stranded again. The next bus that was supposed to come would be the next day. I've never in my life sleep outside. I'm always been an independent person and never did rely on anybody for anything. Never really ask for anything. So asking becomes a burden, and relying on other people becomes a burden. At this point, when I reached to the ground station and the bus drove off, when the bus drove off, the the tears just start flowing. I think that was about 2 p.m. I don't quite remember from the top of my head now. Maybe, but it was in the midday, somewhere about maybe 2 p.m. or somewhere about there. After the bus leave, that's when the reality hit that where are you going to stay for the night? Where are you going to stay? Know that that person turned their back on you. You can't go back to that house. I sat there at the ground station trying to figure my next move. I am new here. I don't even know anybody other than that one person, my my ex-husband, that was supposed to take care of me. I was left in the cold. What I did, I sat at the gas station because it was a gas station. I didn't. I was even afraid to tell anybody my situation. So I sat there and reality comes in. I went inside and I asked, but even though the driver told me that the next bus would be the same time the next day, I asked, how can I get a bus? And start asking how about places to stay, because you can maybe not. That's in my opinion, that the only way to trust anybody is to ask the person, the cashier, which you can't just ask random people. I wouldn't ask random people because because I at first I let my guard down, but no, I have to get my guard up because you don't know who is who. You're in a new place, new land with no real no real help. So while I was there, this guy came up to me and he said, "What happened? What how comes that you didn't catch the bus?" And so I start explaining what happened. So Bodie was a Jamaican and he kind of understand what I was talking about. He went away and then he came back, but I still have my guard up because I didn't tell him I didn't tell him everything. I just told him that the bus leave me and he asked me where I'm going and I explained to him where I'm going. He went away and he came back with another guy. Lord Jesus. Fear started to creep in because I'm lying, wondering what are these guys up to. So he introduced me to his friend. His friend was living not too far from the gas station. So he said, you can stay at my place. You can stay at my place until tomorrow. No, as I said, no, I can laugh. But at that moment, I said to him, listen, no, I'm not gonna stay at anybody's place. I will stay at the gas station until the next day, or I will rent somewhere until the next day. So I was just asking around how to get to, somewhere, and they were telling everywhere they told me was far away from. So luckily, after the guy that he introduced me to told me that he was going to Orlando. He was going to Orlando. So I said, and he can drop me off at Orlando, so I would be able to catch the next bus from Orlando to where I was going to my destination. And he decided, okay, yes, he will drop me. He will do that. But first, I said, can I ask a question? He said, what's that? I said, is it possible that I can take your picture along with your license plate and send it to a friend of mine? He said, yes. Because, and that's the only way I would have gotten in that car, because I don't know them, I don't know him, and I don't know who he were. So he allowed me to take his picture along with his license plate. He leaned against the car with his tag and everything. I took the picture, took his picture, and I sent it to a friend. And I called up a few other people and said, listen, this is what happened, and this is the situation. I mean, people from different places, far away, nobody close by to me that could help me. And that after I did that, he said, okay, he will be leaving in the next hour. He's gonna go home, take a shower, and come back. I said, okay, I'll be here. And he went away and come back. And can you believe that you still have good people in this world today? Yes, I can attest to that. Because that man, he took me, he didn't leave me in Orlando. He took me to my destination as to where I was going. He took me straight to where I was going. And he met the person who I was going to. And till this day, we are really friends. We are good friends. We check up on each other. And so that was one of the moments when I was almost homeless. We check up on each other from time to time. So when I reached to the destination as to where I was going, so this person only has a one room, and I decided, we gonna share the room. I have no money, nothing, but that this person help start go around, start helping me out with helping me to find a job, helping me to find something to do. And within I stay with this person for almost a month. Yeah, there's still good people in this world. I stay with this person for a month, and she find a job for me. And I work, and the first pay I got, I just give her something to for people have their house. People have their house, and they will rent one room to rent out rent out rooms in their from their house to strangers who I would say maybe passing through. For it's just short term, month to month rent, and that's how I survived my first month. And I landed my first job I landed was housekeeping. And so I actually almost going homeless. I did not exactly go homeless. And that was my second attempt of going homeless. And I start living among others. And it is like it is like meeting a whole bunch of people from all different background, all different countries, different language, and sharing sharing one room with three or four other people in on bunk bed. So it's like you have two bunk bed in one room, and you have so that's four people in one room sharing one room, and you have another room with another bunk bed, and you have another room with another four bunk bed. And just imagine, just imagine that you're living. This was my first time ever share a room with stranger who I never knew, much less sharing bathroom, your private space. And all of us 12, 4, 8, 12, and up to 16 people at times using one kitchen. You have to be using the kitchen and shift. You have to use the bathroom and shift. But it was a learning process, and it was an adaptive process. And I have an open mind. I I have an open mind because I said no, this is not something that I really want to do for a long time, but I have no other choice but to do what I have to do to survive. Yes. So, yes, you say, definitely I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor, yes. And um, the person I met, the first Jamaican I met at the gas station, he was a truck driver, and he hooked me up with that person, and that person helped me out. And do you believe that not all men you can trust them like that? Because he had never one day, overstep his bound, which I and that is one of the reasons I we still friends, because I respect him so much. I respect him so much. He had never overstepped his bound. And ever since, I had never let my guard down because, I always have my guard up. But the one time I let my guard down, I was backed into a corner, and I learned from that. I learned. I learned my lesson. But I never give up, and I will never give up, regardless of the circumstances. So did I ever have to get free meal? No, I have never get free meal because I was introduced while I was staying at this house. You know, when you're starting, it's like you're starting life over. When you're starting life, you even though I have this job, this having this job, it's like um it's new. I have to pay a bus fare. I have to take the bus. I have to the pay was really small and I wasn't working a full week. So it wasn't all that much. So some a friend of mine, I developed developed some real good friend and someone. Thank you so much for the respect and yes, thank you so much. You admire that I have high esteem and and mutual respect. Thank you so much. Um, I developed a relationship with some of the girls, some of the ladies, and I was introduced to this thing they call it's not a homeless kitchen. It's a food bank. Food bank. So I was introduced to the food bank thing where you can go to the food bank and you sign up, you sign up and you get food. You get whatever they're offering that day. It's not cooked food, it's food that you have to go home go and cook. So I got a lot of tin stuff, fruits and vegetable and meat and a whole different type of stuff. I get I got a lot of those. I did that for about 2 weeks, but then it wasn't my style. It wasn't my style because some of the things that they offer is some of the things that they offer, those are not stuff that I eat. And you would get this whole lot of meat. That wasn't my style. So I did that for 2 weeks with I was really grateful anyway. I was grateful because I it helped me out for that 2 weeks with whatever I eat from that, the fruits and the vegetables and some of the canned stuff that I get. And I was grateful because it helped me out a lot. And when I start working, it's like it seems based upon how small the pay was, it seems like I owe a bill, a 10-year bill, because I have rent to pay, I have um, other bills to take care of. Remember, I'm just new and I have to save my fare, and it was a whole bunch of different things. And this housekeeping job. So this was my very first time doing housekeeping, and I can say housekeeping can be a bittersweet. The sweet part about it, let me give you the sweet part first. The sweet part is that you have a job. You you get tips, which that helped me out a lot. And you get to meet good people. You get to meet a lot of people. Some are great people, some people, you know, all different type of people. But the bitter part of it is, ah man, it's let me let me say, I remember I remember like some of the rooms were like I remember one day, when I opened one of the room, when I opened the room and look inside the room, tears fell from my eyes. I said to myself, what have I done to deserve this? Because I never know people could really mess it, so or maybe mess it like this, or maybe they do it deliberately. I think that was a deliberate act. I don't know because I can't think of anybody. You go into an hotel room and you turn the room upside down, and I think maybe they bring garbage from outside. I don't know, but I had the picture. I don't know if I still have the picture, but I have to video in the room. It's like a dump. Inside that room was like a dump. And I got several rooms like that. Not on that same day, but several on different occasion, different days. And that was one of the things that I prayed that I will never do housekeeping again. Never. And I thank God that I passed the stage where I have choices and I can choose the type of work that I do. And it gave me, that gave me a sense of independence as well. That gave me a sense of independence because knowing that you don't have to rely on anyone, regardless of the mess that you have to clean, or regardless of the relationship that you build. It still gives you a sense of independence. You don't have to rely on anyone for anything. You can tell your story. You can use your problem or this as a stepping stone to get to higher heights or get to where you want to go. And you know, I know a lot of people would walk. I've seen people come and work in that environment and walk off the same day. I've seen Americans came and they only work one day and they never come back the next day because they said this is not for me. This is too hard for me. And they never came back. But I admire them for their resilience. But this is not something that I could do because remember, I'm not an American. I could never leave my job. I would be homeless because they would throw me out just like that. So, and in order for me to stay indoors, get covered, and get in order for me to get keep a shelter over my head, I have to put up with all the mess. And then I guess those mess become a real message for me, a real message. Yes, because I will never go back to that. I understand why when they came they leave and they don't come back. And that was I could say I hit rock bottom. It could be I could say I hit rock bottom because and this is another story. This is another story that I can give you. Like, I remember on several occasions, because I didn't have a drive then, I didn't have a car, and I have to take the bus. And on several occasions, this place does not have bus stop, or I don't know what you call it, bus stop. They have this thing with just one piece of stick with a sign on it. one piece of stick with a sign like a lollipop stick. And with that lollipop stick, you it that's where you have to stand up to get the bus. And I remember one day, on several occasions, I'm standing there, and the rain just come, and in minutes I was soaking wet. In within minutes I was soaking wet, and I have to wait on the bus because there's not gonna be another bus until the next hour or so. When I go in the bus, I can't sit down. I have to keep standing because if you know what it's like to be soaking wet, um, in by the outside, you can't sit down because it is very uncomfortable. And when I get to where I was staying, I have to strip throw everything in the washer. Shoes and everything was soaking wet. Those are some of the things that I have to endure to not being homeless, to stay to not get for not being homeless, to stay indoor, and so I can have shelter over my head. Those are some of my survival ways I survive to avoid being homeless. So regardless of the setback and the many tears I cried, and the many homes that I share, because when I live, I share many homes, and they're all the same. I remember, regardless of the many homes that I share with stranger and the many tears I cried, just to avoid being homeless. I'm sitting here. I can talk about it. During those years, I could never speak about them. The minute I tried to even mention any of those, any of what happened the day before, I would I would be emotionally in tears because it's not easy. And as Mike Edison, I read a lot of books, and I heard the story about Mike Edison. He had tried 99.9 times with the light bulb before he was able to make that one breakthrough. Steve Harvey was homeless for 3 years before he made his first breakthrough. Those are some of the moments that kept me alive and kept me from being homeless. And I remember after I decided to quit the housekeeping because it was getting too hard. It was getting to me too much with all these mess that I have to clean. I was able to apply for customer service, and I did that for 9 months. The customer service, thank you so much. Yes, I thank God that I've passed that stage. And the immigration stage, I'm going to talk about, I think I'm going to go live one day about my immigration, you know, how I get through to my immigration status as well. I think that is going to be another live video. And I went through when I couldn't do the housekeeping anymore with the mess, that too much mess. I love the tips that I was getting. Yes, but I think it was getting to me. And I did customer service for 9 months. And with the customer service, I think it wasn't much of a difference from the housekeeping. I'm like, when you're talking to some people, I'm like, some I'm a big woman and I'm trying to help these people with their problem. And sometimes the way how they talk to you, how they talk down to you, it's like, yes, I understand you have a problem with the system, but it's not me. I have nothing to do with whatever. I'm trying to help you. And the way how they talk down to you, I did because I only did it for 9 months. And I decided that no, I went ahead and did something that I like. I went ahead and did the nursing assistant, where I help older people to help older people, and that's where I started in this. I went ahead and did get certified in doing nurse assistants. They call it CNA. And after I got certified, my first job was a live-in job. I packed up everything that I own, that I own. Not much, not much, but everything that I own, I packed them up and I put them in storage. And what I did when I was living at when I was living there, I in this house with this whole bunch of people, I was buying stuff little by little and keep them, you buy little things, just pack them in the car in somewhere until I rented a storage unit. I packed everything in that storage unit and I went and do living work, helping elderly, not babysitting or cooking for our whole family. And I think that is gonna be for another day, another story. But that's what I did. And ever since then I've been doing taking care of the elderly. It can be fun. It can be fun because you get to learn about their mission and their journey, what they like, what they don't like, what they do, and their plans the plans that they had, and how they overcome those plans, how they overcame those missions. Most of whom I take care of are veterans, people who worked in the army, people who worked at NASA and NASA space centers and stuff like that. And I gather a whole bunch of experience. And actually that is my story. I did I my last my last year of living among other people was I spent 2.5 years as a living caregiver. And after he passed away, it was time for me to move on. And come June, so today is the 26th, June has 30 days, 4 days from now, gonna be 1 year since I was able to rented my own apartment. By the help of God, I was able to rent my own apartment. And I can say, I thank God that for the lesson I learned and the cultural difference that I maneuver, and I became adaptive to the culture and the different people I was able to I should can say the different people I was able to learn from. So before I end this video, I want to ask you to take a few seconds to subscribe to the channel and share and subscribe to the channel. Like 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 click the like button. Click the like button and leave your comment. Share you if you know someone who had gone through similar situation, if you know someone who is going through that similar situation, or if you have been through situation like this, share your comment below and ask me any question. I will definitely answer if it's something that I can. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not trained to help people in the psychiatric department, but I can definitely give you some views on how I maneuver my situation and how I escape um, being homeless. It's a decision that you have to make for yourself. That you're not gonna make let situation take control of your life. You're gonna put in you're gonna you're not gonna make the situation get to you like that. You're gonna figure out a way how to work around this situation. So leave your comment below. Let me know what you think about this video and how you maneuver, how you get through situation like that. And I just want to say, I just want to end by saying I survived homelessness. I wanted to say twice, but it's more than twice. Because every time that I have to move from a different home move from one home to a different home, it could be a situation that I wasn't, I couldn't get to that point, but I was able to get through. So I just leave it to say I was almost homeless twice and I survived. And I know if you find yourself in similar situation, just reach out. Don't be like me who was afraid to ask question because of my pride. I was afraid to reach out and ask question because of my pride. So don't be afraid to ask question. Leave your comment in the box below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in and stay with me. And yes, I do enjoy working with elderlies and I learn a lot from them. And I thank God for I'm able to pass that stage. Thank you so much, Wellbeing Wise, for being here with me and the others. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna close off now by saying subscribe to the channel.